Hello, I'm Ryan Fox. This is my channel, I Hate Rock Music. And on this video, I'm going to talk about the San Diego band Drive Like Jehu. And I'm very fortunate. I got to see them live twice. And I couldn't believe the energy that was coming off that stage and how frenetic their shows were. And the incredible interplay of their two guitars. Really an incredible band, one of the all-time greats. And they came out of San Diego and were together from 90 to 95. I think I saw them about 92 or 93. And then they reunited for a short reunion between 2014 and 2016. The band was Rick Froberg and John Reese and Mike Kennedy and Mark Trombino. And so Mike Kennedy played bass, Mark Trombino played drums, and Rick Froberg and John Reese played guitars. And they both, Rick and John both came out of a band called Pitchfork that was active from 1986 to 1990. And there's some great recordings of that band. And then Mike Kennedy and Mark Trombino were in a band from 1987 to 1990 called Night Soil Man. So half of Night Soil Man and half of Pitchfork became Drive Like Jehu. And the name comes from a biblical passage, which is kind of interesting. But definitely one of the most energetic and great two guitar bands I've ever heard. And Rick Froberg's vocals, of course, were histrionic and wonderful and went with the music well. And their first album came out in 1991 on Cargo Records, just called Drive Like Jehu. And then 3 years later, 1994, they came out with a major label album called Yank Crime on Interscope. And both albums are essential. And there's also a single from 1992 called Hand Over Fist with the flip side, Bullet Train to Vegas. And luckily those tracks are available as bonus tracks now on the CD releases of their albums. But as I say, their two guitar interplay was just electric, and they created these melodic threads through all their noise with a rhythm section that could really back it up with all their changes and convolutions in the middle of a song. And they pack more energy into one song than a lot of bands can pack into an entire album. And then it's kind of interesting because after they broke up, Froberg and John Reese had another band called Rocket from the Crypt, a lot more restrained than certainly anything Drive Like Jehu did. But then in 1999, John Reese and Rick Froberg got together in a band called Hot Snakes and recorded several albums, well, quite a few. I think there's four albums. There might be less or more, 3 to 5, but anyway, 4 albums. And it does have a lot of the energy of Drive Like Jehu, not quite as intense, but they're definitely have the shadow of Drive Like Jehu through them and are well worth it. But I think their work with Drive Like Jehu is truly definitive. And then Rick Froberg died in 2023, so it's all over now. And I guess they bonded, Rick Froberg and John Reese bonded because they had a mutual love of this band called Honor Roll that used to be around back in the day. And I can see a lot of Honor Roll's influence on Drive Like Jehu. But anyway, there's 2 albums, and I'll post both albums below. I'll post the single below, and then there's a few rarities, and I'll post them. And I'll have to look up and see if there's any video of them on YouTube. I haven't really checked. Could possibly be. And if so, you can definitely see what I saw when I saw them live. Just an incredible ball of energy coming off that stage, and really an unforgettable experience. There's a lot of bands I really love, but as far as live bands go, they were one of the most astonishing things I've ever seen. And luckily, those 2 albums really captured a lot. And so Drive Like Jehu, if you haven't heard them before, and you like that 90s angular, dissonant, noisy, frenetic, energetic, powerhouse rock, you don't need to look too much further than Drive Like JEHU. And there was a lot of really great bands around that time, as I did a video on Bark Market, for example. Definitely in similar territory, although Bark Market relies on really huge, massive riffs. And Drive Like JEHU really is about two guitar interplay. And when their lead parts are sparring, they create some great microtonalities and melody. And then when they lock up and play the riffs themselves, they're still really charged. So they're not big slabs of energy or big slabs of massive riffs. They're just this pummeling, wild electric energy. And I guess I've sold them enough. Drive Like JEHU, highly recommended. If you haven't heard them, you're in for a big treat. I'm Brad Fox. Thanks for watching I Hate Rock Music.